One of the important things we have to remember about the military is always a reflection of society as a whole. It's just we see things sometimes faster because it's a smaller component of society, or we see a different impact because it's a controlled, it's a very controlled and somewhat uniform environment. But the first thing that's happened with the military is there's just been an unmooring. There's been an unmooring for decades now, an unmooring from any sort of biblical foundation for our military. And that's really what made our nation great. That's what made our military great. But if we turn our back on biblical truth, there is no foundation. So imagine, just imagine you have an organization that is designed and intended to train people to kill others, right? To take lives of others. That's a very difficult thing for any of us to do. We're made in God's image. We're not designed or intended in a perfect environment to have to take human life. So imagine doing that, but doing it because you believe what you're doing is good, right? So I think of my grandfathers in World War II, one of my grandfathers in Korea, thinking about that perspective, they had a sense of peace about what they were doing. And today we don't even make homage to some of those basic biblical principles anymore in our military. So you've taken that away. You will be prosecuted, persecuted in the military for praying in Jesus' name, except for in limited settings. Chaplains are forced, and sometimes their promotions are hurt if they're not willing to do same-sex weddings or pray Hindu prayers. I represented an O5 in the Navy who was forced to go through an administrative separation process and almost kicked out of the Navy because he made Bibles that he purchased available in his office. So he'd do an in-processing with his sailors and say, this is a book that I get my wisdom and leadership from. It's helped me in my career. I will gladly give you a free copy if you'd like it as a resource. There's no pressure from me. But that was seen as proselytizing, just having a Bible available on the shelf. So I say that all to say everything we see now in the military is a result of just a complete unmooring from any kind of a standard. But on the flip side, it's buying into the myth of neutrality, right? It's this idea that anything can be free from a moral or religious standard. So what we see in the military is we've divorced ourselves from any kind of a Christian foundation, biblical foundation rooted in truth for the training, the morale, the character that we're doing. And we've really replaced it with secular humanism.